The Sports Source is brought to you by Fast Frame. Turn your memorabilia into a work of art.
This is The Sports Source, presented by Bill Hotz and Associates, and by Renewal by Andersen, with your host, John Pennington.
Good Sunday morning and welcome into The Sports Source, presented by Renewal by Andersen. Happy to have you with us today. Last week, thanks to you, our highest rated show in our 15-year history. So we're going to do it again. We brought in all kinds of great basketball analysts to talk about the big game in town today. Tennessee, number 20 in the nation, hosting number 7 North Carolina. It's kind of a throwback to the glory years of Tennessee basketball. We'll see how it all plays out. And trust me, we're going to have diagrams, we're going to have breakdowns, scouting reports, a lot of player views. It's going to be good stuff today on the Sports Source as we talk Carolina, Tennessee, and also we are going to have some Tennessee football news, recruiting, and then some staff issues. So that's coming up. This first segment of our program brought to you by Renewal by Andersen. It is your last chance, right now, your last chance to lock in 2017 pricing. Buy a window or patio door and get a second one at 40% off. In addition, no money down, no interest, no payments for 12 months. This incredible offer ends December 31st. Visit renewalbyandersen.com or rbaknoxville.com to get to the local website. Best windows indoors in the US of A and great deals right now. Lock in 2017 pricing. Renewal by Andersen. All right, I want to welcome in the first wave of panelists. We have someone else waiting in the wings. Bob Hodge is right here. Former Vol staff member Mark Pancratz right there. Former Vol, I should say VFL, or I'll get emails, Isaiah Victor right there. And Mike Strange, a newly elected member to the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. Well deserved. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
He made us say that. He's got a huge ego. Guys, big game. As I said, Tennessee hosting North Carolina. Tennessee almost upset the Tar Heels last year in Chapel Hill. Just how big is this game for Tennessee? We'll start right there. How big is this game for the program? Mark, Isaiah, as guys who were a part of it, in terms of a launch pad, springboard, getting attention, how big is it?
Well, I think it's for the players, it's not as big as it is for the people outside the program because of all that's been going on with the football program, the athletic department. But I think it's really big for Barnes and staff as well because they've caught in some flack about recruiting and are they going to get it back? Was Rick really engaged when he took this job? And this just solidifies it. They're ahead of where I think many people thought they would be. And if they can go out there and get this W today, it'll do wonders for this program.
Isaiah, from a VFL perspective, how big is this game?
Oh, it's colossal in my eyes. Again, like Mark said, if I was a player, coach, maybe not so big because it's just a game. You get to play another one, but it's a golden opportunity the way I see it. Just because of their ranking, defending national champions, got so close to beating them last year, so it's a good chance to get revenge. And I mean, we got to build our tournament resume if that's where we want to wind up at the end of the year.
Well, let me tell you something about the two guys that just did the talking. This is interesting. And also, it tells you just how big this game is in Tennessee basketball history. Let's take a look at this remarkable statistic. Since Thompson Bowling Arena opened in 1987, this will be the third time that Tennessee has been ranked, and they'll be playing a ranked non-conference foe. That's it. The only other times it happened, Tennessee beat Wisconsin in 2000, and then Tennessee beat Kansas when Kansas was number 1, the suspension game, one of the most incredible games in UT history, and then today's game. And it doesn't get much better when you look at ranked conference foes. Let's take a look here. You don't have to read all those. Only 3 times have they lost now. Has Tennessee lost when they've had a ranked foe in here? But those are the conference games you've played. So 11 of those. But you'll see, Isaiah Victor, 2000 and 2001, that's 7 of these 13 games. Mark Pancratz, 2008, 2010, that's 6 of these 13 games. You covered them all. You guys we got the full spectrum. So in terms of a panel, we got a pretty good panel today, and as Mike Strange pointed out earlier, you covered them all as well. Yeah, and let me ask you, Mike, talking about the size and scope of this game. Tennessee's kind of been off the national radar for a while. Yeah. They had the Sweet 16 run under Conzo Martin, but for the most part, they had the high of the Bruce Pearl era. His last year, it was all kinds of attention for the wrong reasons. If they win today, you're going to start seeing them pop up on a lot of, surprise teams, Cinderella teams. How big is it in terms of national perception?
Well, I've already seen them pop up on some list of surprise teams, but it would be big because you got North Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas, Duke. Those are, to me, the marquee teams in the nation. You beat one of those guys, and they've beaten Kentucky because they played them a lot. But for Tennessee to beat North Carolina would really get a lot of attention. I don't think it would like rock the nation's basketball off its axis because there's so many games. You know, there's going to be another game Monday and another big game Tuesday, but it definitely would get Tennessee some attention that they haven't had.
It bolsters recruiting too. I mean, they've got with family members and other recruits, they've got 58 people there at the game today from a basketball standpoint, and then it's on a Sunday, so there are no high school basketball games today. So all your top high school players in the country, they're engaged in watching North Carolina, Tennessee play. So if you can get this win, I think it adds.
Bob, from a fan's perspective, what we were talking about, there was wild jubilation during the Bruce Pearl era. People were loving it, packing that house. Haven't had that in a while. Real opportunity as Joe Average fan, and you make no bones about being a Tennessee fan. You starting to get more engaged with this team, with this kind of a win, with this kind of a game coming up?
If the fact where Tennessee is right now already engages you well into, okay, if things go south for them. But if you win today, I would go back to Bruce Pearl's win over Texas. Now, it's not the same circumstances. Right. Barnes has been here longer. That happened in Bruce Pearl's first year. But if you get that kind of a marquee win, then what you do is you pull in all the periphery Tennessee fans who, well, I like basketball, but God, they're not very good. Now you get those people on, watch them on television, you get those people going over to the game. I know somebody who is going over to the game at halftime to try to buy a ticket because he's going to be at my house until then, to try to buy a ticket to get in and watch the second half of the game. Okay, do you do this if this team comes in 3-8?
Right.
No, you probably don't. And so that's the kind of difference it makes.
I take it it's a Vikings fan.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll be watching the 1 o'clock game. Isaiah, I'm going to finish with you. In terms of players' perspective, we're talking about it's going to be a noisy crowd. You're going to have emotion. You're going to have all the cameras on you. What advice would you have, player to player, for those guys in terms of keeping things in check? Or would you say, go with it, ride it? Where are you on all that?
I think every player is a little different. I played with Ron Slay. He would feed into the fans, feed into the media, and it worked for him. Myself, I would listen to it, of course. You can't help but hear it, but you block it out. At the end of the day, once the ball tips up, you got to find that small little head space, and you got to take the crowd out of it, take whatever the media said out of it, take whatever happened yesterday out of it, and you just got to go out there and play, follow the coach's orders, and just give it your all, man.
Very good. All right, guys, when we come back, like I say, we're going to have some news on Tennessee football a little later, some recruiting as well. But next, emotion, crowd noise, experience level. North Carolina's been in this position before. How big of an advantage is that? And then later on, we're going to start getting over to the Wipey board and doing the scouting report. And Mark Pankratz has his Wipey board pencil, and he's ready to go with the diagram. So all that coming up on the Sports Source. Come on back and join us on the next segment.